Hi there, my name is Rachel Robertson and I'm a teacher in the Central Community School System. I teach at Central Intermediate School and my class supports both regular and special education students. January 6th of this year, I began teaching a class that supports students who have met challenges within other traditional settings with behavior and emotional health disorders. In my classroom, we have a unique situation, and my class is set up so that the students have their own individual workstation in which they have everything that they need. I co-teach with a regular education teacher, and we work together to be sure that the needs of each student have been met. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm very passionate about helping students learn solutions to behavior challenges as well as academic challenges.
Alright guys, I'm giving you your materials for today, your paperwork, your books that we're going to need. While I'm handing these out, let's review. What have we been talking about in reading? What are we trying to learn? What are we reading about to learn?
American Revolution.
American Revolution. Can you give me a little bit more about the American Revolution?
Why the world started.
Okay, stand by 1 second, please. He said why the war started. That's what we've been talking about. Why did this war start? Now, what were you saying?
It started because of the taxes.
It started because of taxes. Okay, Okay, the T. I'm hearing something about the T. What about the T? I heard a new word. He said patriots. Well, who are the patriots?
The colonists.
Okay, they're colonists. Why are they colonists? Because they're ugly.
Like tax. No, because they were not rich.
Some colonists were rich. Some were not.
Different colonists were either loyal to the king or some were patriots.
Okay, now I'm hearing the word king. What do you mean, king? We don't have a king. King of England. So that gives you a clue about the word colonists. The colonists were from where?
England.
England. When they left England, why did they leave?
Because they had to pay tax.
They weren't, well, they might have been paying
They wanted
taxes.
to be free.
They wanted to be free. What kind of freedom? I'm hearing a lot from Sean.
They wanted to become rich.
They wanted to become rich in
And
England.
didn't have to pay taxes. And in England, if your parents were poor, you were probably going to be poor for the rest of your life.
Sean is on it.
I tell you
But
what.
in America, they had the chance to change that, right? They had the chance to change that. So they came over to a new world, Cameron, to try and change it. They were looking for religious freedom. They were looking to gain wealth. And they wanted to break away from
England.
England, the King of England. So
today, we are going to create a presentation about the American colonists using information we've gathered from two sources. What two sources do you think we might use?
How the revolution started.
Where could we find that information? What source?
In the book.
Which book?
Lived at the time of American Revolution.
Yes, Amante, can you hold that book up for me, please? Does that look familiar to anybody? Yes, we've been reading that book. We have been reading to learn and to gain information. Where else might we find information for our presentation? Jordan, where else might we find information?
Landmark books. Liberty House, the Revolution began.
And where are you reading that from? Hold it up for us. This also should look familiar to you. We've been reading out of this book. So let's talk about a presentation. I just told you that we're going to create a presentation. You might say, Ms. Robertson, what is a presentation? That's an awfully big word. Well, let me just tell you.
Presentation is where you speak and something, and you gather information
else?
Into words to make a presentation.
Yes.
To present it.
Today we're going to take what we know, what we've learned, what we have been talking about, discussing, and reading about. We're going to take all of that we have learned from and gathered from our sources, and we are going to put them in an organized presentation. Okay? Presentations can look in a lot of different ways. Some presentations can be written on index cards, and it can be an oral presentation. Some presentations can be written on a piece of paper in a graphic organizer, and you can share it with
Or in a book.
others. Some presentations can even be a PowerPoint, if you like technology. Okay? So guess what? You will be able to choose. You are going to have a choice today as to what type of presentation you would like to create. You are going to be the creator of this presentation. You can choose. You can write it on index cards. We will give you index cards. If you would like to type it in a Word document, we're going to give you time on your laptops today to do so. If you would like to put it in a PowerPoint presentation, you will have your laptops, and you can work on that. Everyone in here can do something different. It can look different. But there are some things that are must-dos. There are some things that every one of your presentations must have in order to get your points. Okay? We talk about a rubric. It's a way that we're going to grade your presentation. Your presentation must contain these components. Miss Davis, far?
Okay, the first component, what does that mean?
Component is a person.
No, I'm back up a little bit. Don't think about American Revolution. We said component.
A state? Somebody that rules the
Don't think about American Revolution. She said there are 4 components that your presentation must include.
sentences.
Okay, it could be a sentence.
Pictures.
It could be a picture. It's 4 things. We'll just say 4 things. It's 4 details. It's 4 pieces of information. The first component, the first piece of information that we need in your presentation is, where did the colonists originate? Now, I thought that this word could possibly catch us, and we might think, what does that mean? So what did I give you right here?
Where did it come from?
Which is what?
The foreign originate?
That's right. It's the definition for the word originate. Originate just means, where did you come from?
Originally where you born.
Exactly. So where did the colonists originate? Let's talk about it. Where did they originate? Where did they come from?
Where can we find that information?
In the book. If you live at the river.
In your book. You can look. Either source has this information in it. You can choose to look through your sources. Okay, Miss Davis and I, when it's time, we're going to be walking around. We will help you as you skim through and find this information.
So does anybody know, just from their prior knowledge, where the colonists originated from? We've already said it once this morning.
England.
England. Very good. So that's one little piece of info that we need in this first component. Let's go to our second component. Malachi, what is the second piece of info that we need? Opinions. We've talked about this. What are those 2 major opinions of the British? We had 2 sides.
England and the mother country. The Patriots.
The Patriots
And the Loyalists.
and the Loyalists. So where are you going to find info about the Patriots and the Loyalists?
In the book.
In the book. So I want you to tell me, what were the 2 opinions? Now, can you just say, oh, I'm done, Patriots, colonists, I found a Google image on my PowerPoint, I am done. Is that what I want?
Yes.
No, I want you to tell me Patriots, but you have to tell me who those Patriots are. What did they believe? Then you have to tell me Loyalists. What did the Loyalists believe? All of that info is word for word in your text, in your 2 books.
All right, so
Are we done now?
when we started our lesson, we talked about it is going to be your choice. You can choose. Do you want index cards? Would you like to do a PowerPoint? Would you like to do a Word document? I am going to pass around, Miss Davis and I both will be passing around a graphic organizer. You
We have to do it right
You
now.
may choose, you have it, you may choose to fill in your graphic organizers. What you see on the board is what you see on your graphic organizer. This will help you collect your ideas as you are going back through your sources. It's important that you look back, Sean, through your sources so that you can use text evidence in your presentation. That it will earn you extra points with your rubric. Now, what I would like for you to do right now, I want you to think, what type of presentation would you like to create? Zamante, what type of presentation would you like to create?
Here's your 3 options on the board. You can create a PowerPoint. Okay, PowerPoint. Why PowerPoint?
Just I don't have to write.
And because I love the computer. Just say it. Admit your.
First of all, how many components do you have?
No, Fine.
How many components do we have?
4.
4. Okay, would you like to put one component on each slide, or would you like to put all 4 components on one slide?
Sean.
On one slide. Okay,
Better not grab my leg.
let's
I'm gonna kick you.
do this. Have you ever made a text box before?
Yeah, 'cause you grab my leg.
Okay, let me help you. A text box is just that spot where you will write your text, which is, do you know what text is? It's just a fancy word for words, your text. That's your words. So, hey Monica, tell me what you're doing.
Could you help me real quick?
I'm doing a PowerPoint of like all the answers, what's up there and stuff.
Okay. So explain to me, how are you designing your presentation? Are you putting it all on one slide, or are you making
I'm
a slide for each component?
I'm putting it like all on one slide.
All on one slide.
And
I
I'm
love that
actually gonna
idea.
make a title. I'm actually gonna make a title.
I would love that. What do you think a good title would be?
The colonists,
I love that
or
idea.
like all about the colonists or something.
Which I love that idea that you're gonna wait to the end to come up with your title. Something else I noticed is you already have answers to these components. Did you find those answers in your source? Can you show me in your source where those answers can be found? Show me.
Dude, I was look at the source and there's like 75 sources. I got my phone.
I want to leave. This is what I want you to work on. I see you already have your answers, but do you know what might be helpful? I think you might need to add a question on there, so that when you were making your presentation, when you were presenting it, or if someone. After reflecting on today's lesson and re-looking at the video that I shot, I noticed a couple of things. I noticed some things that happened that I was excited about, but I also noticed some things that I would like to work on. First of all, I was excited to see these boys engaged in a lesson. Often these boys were misbehaving. A lot of times, anytime they were expected to do work, it would result in a temper tantrum. So just the fact that we were able to have a lesson with no temper tantrums was a success for us, and they were working. I heard content-rich conversations going on. But I did hear a lot of off-task behavior, and that is something that we are working on as a class, and the students are working on individually, but as teachers, we're trying to come up with solutions to help with the off-task behavior. Another thing that I noticed was that most of the content-rich discussions were coming from Ms. Davis, and I would like to give more immediate feedback on content-rich discussions. So my takeaway from today is we're going to work on our off-task behavior, and I will work on more immediate content-rich feedback. But as a whole, I'm very pleased with the lesson. I felt like the boys understood what the outcomes were and what the expectations were, and I felt like they really understood the life of the colonists and why the American Revolution began.